Okay, hello and good morning, welcome back to Upload TV. Thanks for joining us this week. We took our travels off to Shropshire, just outside Bridge North, and we're at the Astbury Golf Club. Joey the Tweet's on the camera there, myself the average golfer, and we're going to play what is known as the home of Darren Clark, also the home of Sarah Stirk, the Sky Sports golf presenter. And the course itself was designed by KK Dowling, who is from the legendary rock band Judas Priest, so a lot of famous names that are associated with this golf club, and now they've got the average golfer to go with that as well, so can't be too bad. Anyway, golf course itself, gorgeous sunny day, loving the backdrop and what we've seen so far. You move slightly away from the clubhouse to get to the first tee, so it gives an opportunity of seeing a few holes. We've drove past the 10th, which looks really interesting, and 18 is a signature hole, which is a par 3 over, quite a bit of water, and we'll get to that one a little later on. But for the time being, we're teed up and ready to go down the first. Let's see what the Astbury Golf Club has in store and has to offer you golfers out there. Okay, so we stood at the back of the second green and chose to film back down the fairway as opposed to up it, because you get a better vantage point from up here, and hopefully you can better understanding of what it is I'm trying to describe. But a lot of this is only the second hole, but very much similar down the first. We've had a look around a little bit, and I think very much similar as to what's to come in terms of the pattern and shape of the fairways. Excellent definition, first cut, second cut, and it's quite a big way before you start to get to some long rough, so you've got a little bit of allowance, if you like, for an error and tee shot, which I certainly like, and the average golfer will certainly like. You will get punished if you go too far, but you're still able to keep that game flowing. We don't want any 5-hour rounds rooting for golf balls every hole, so this is a good idea for my liking. But yeah, great crisscross patterns in the fairway, all look superb. A lot of green staff in and around the place already, so you can see there's a lot of attention to detail here, and certainly look after the place. And a second point to mention, again only on the second green, but what you'll find here at the Astbury, it's important with the greens. I'll mention it no doubt a few occasions on this little course report that we do, that there's a lot of contours in these greens, and it's important to find the right tier. No better example than on the second. Pin is cut, this is almost a 3-tier green. Well, looking at the dip at the front, it is a 3-tier green. If you come to the back end and that pin is perched either at the front or the middle as it is today, then you're really going to struggle to get a 2-putt. This is obviously middle tier, very pacey, the greens, and I would suggest that we just need to get this one somewhere, sort of start it rolling over that brow. Have that enough, and just got to the brow. It's not got the right line, but look at the pace then down it. I didn't even think I was going to make the brow, to be quite honest with you. So it really just needs to find the top. So we'll try and take just a little bit off and a little bit further left. Maybe not a little bit off, and it's still not far enough left, but the pace will be good, I would think. It's better than the first one. And once again, still goes just past the hole. You'd certainly take those two, but imagine trying to put to the front if the pin was at the front. So get your don't be using your GPS system to find middle of greens here. I would suggest you get your rangefinder out and get some yardages to the actual pin, because from front to back, what have we got on this green in particular? Perhaps as much as 60 yards. Okay, so quick stop off. We're just approaching or walking down to my balls there on the green on the this is the 8th hole. Tee off over the brow, slightly blind in terms of not seeing the green from the tee shot, but over the brow, and you're left with, if you hit a fairly decent shot, you'll be left with a short iron in. But what's interesting about a number of the greens here at the Astbury is the clever design in terms of the contours. It's been noticeable on greens from 1 to 8 where you think you're leading into the green with a fairly decent wedge shot, but you need to know the course and on which side of the greens to land, because with clever bunkering and again the strategy in the way that which the contours sort of swing, then you need to make sure you're finding the right side of those greens. And again, here I came in, you don't see this sort of dip from where I think I had something like 110 left into this green, and you don't see this dip. And then you also, as I say, I've not played the course before, you'll notice there's a big ridge in the middle of the green, which again, when the flag's set at the back, it's obviously going to make life a lot easier if you can get to that back end of the green. But where we're left now, it's a fairly decent pitch in, and I don't know what, 20 foot from the flag, 25 foot, but it makes it so much more difficult because of that hump in the middle of the green, and I can imagine if they've got the pin cut at the front, which must be one of the toughest positions to get at, you certainly wouldn't want to be long, and vice versa when it's at the back. You don't want to be on this side of the bump. So let's see, over the top of the brow, that's got a bit of too much pace in it. Needs to hit the flag. No, that's gone away past. I said a bit too much pace, but that's a way past. So important, like I say, probably be nice to certainly have played the course before and understand the contours of these greens. Right, 9th hole, and we're stood on the corner of quite a severe, almost right angle dogleg. It's a par 5, and you really need some of the big hitters out there. If you find in the middle of the fairway, particularly where they're sort of bombing down at the moment, if you look back, we're sort of just over the brow, you can't actually see where you're going, so slightly blind tee shot. What you want to be mindful of if you go with driver is, I would think that the pond is reachable on the right, so the idea, I say this all the time, obviously the idea is centre, so pretty obvious statement. But then when you get to here, and perhaps it's even your second shot, if you turn round, Joe, though in theory your second shot should be down into that dip. It's a great opportunity, and as I say, for big hitters to get to this one in 2. This is leaves 216 into the flag. It's all uphill, as you can see, down into the dip and then straight back up again. Real nice golf hole. It's stroke index 2 though, and again, like I said, it's all about finding the right positions really off the tee. But we'll have a bit of a bash here and see. But great to be teeing from a well, not teeing as such, a second shot, approach shot, but from that elevated position, it's nice to be here. Slightly down that left, my favoured shot, Joe, but I'm interested in terms of distance. Certainly would have got there in terms of distance. My favourite shot down that left hand side, but a great par 5 on the 9th at the Astbury. Oh, what a glorious day it is here at the Aspley Golf Club. We've just finished the front 9, and very, very enjoyable. I hope you can grasp that from some of the comments that we've made on the way around. Real interest in front 9, and certainly looking forward to getting stuck into this back 9, see if more of the same is in front of us. But I thought we'd stop off at the 10th. Real interesting golf hole, and a great sort of risk and reward type of hole, perfect for match play. 279 yards stood on this tee. Slightly wind into us, so maybe certainly be out of the reach for myself, but some of the big hitters out there will certainly fancy a bash at this one. And if the wind was slightly reversed from wind assisted, maybe I could even get there at 280. Bear in mind it's uphill, but what they've done very cleverly is the risk and reward element. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bunkers on display, and hopefully we've got some aerial footage that we're flying over right now that you can just aid my description. Plenty of long fescue rough on the right as well, so there's plenty of trouble between tee and green. So have a go if you fancy it. If not, get a yardage and find a space between those bunkers with a long iron and see if you can make your par that way. Okay, so we couldn't do any course report at the Astbury Golf Club without featuring the 18th. Great finishing hole, and no doubt seen plenty of drama over the years from you visitors and society golfers who've played this golf course. Literally green or bust. You certainly don't want to be short. I think make sure whatever you choose, make sure it's the longer option. Not been to the green yet, but certainly visually it looks as though it just slopes backwards towards that water as well, which is always just another thing just to put a bit of fear into your mind. We're stood on the yellow tee box here. It plays sort of around the 150 mark into that back position anyway. I've just got a yardage onto that back flag at the moment. So stunning golf hole, stunning way to finish, and no doubt plenty of conversation in the clubhouse about how good or perhaps bad your final tee shot was. Okay, well, we've just finished our 18 holes, but I didn't really pay particular attention to the greens as we made our way around, so we thought we'd stop off on the putting green and give you an idea, because they were in very, very good condition in terms of the flatness of the roll. There's some great contours in the greens, and I did mention on one of the clips how key it was to find and understand those greens and the contours. It's very easy to have one set off at the flag in flight and end up quite a bit away from it by the time it comes to rest if you hit the wrong side of those greens. So certainly get the thumbs up, but pace wise and roll, like I said, roll very, very good, and so is the pace. But let's just see if we can get that one rolling and see where that one finishes up. Again, very, very good in terms of the roll. Finish 2 or 3 foot away. Back up the hill, Joe. And hopefully all I'm trying to demonstrate again, if you just watch the ball rolling out, very, very true. Nice pace, you're not giving them a great deal. We'll finish with one more, Joe. We'll go for the long one. This is going in. 50 footer to finish. Again, still doesn't need much going. It's rolling out. Can it go in, Joe? That'd have been a bit of drama to finish, wouldn't it? Yeah. But yeah, green's in excellent condition, and like I said, both true in the roll and very, very quick as well. Okay, well, I'm stood on what is the 17th green, and thought a perfect time to sort of summarise our round at the Astbury. Great backdrop. We're just about to make our way onto this iconic 18th tee and golf holes, a little par 3. Might even film one more man versus golf hole challenge, because it certainly looks an interesting finish. So the course itself at the Astbury, it's been in absolutely fantastic condition. Plenty of work going on all around the course. There's green staff absolutely everywhere. Fairways and greens have been perfect. First cut, second cuts are rough, clearly defined, and the sort of crisscross fairways are really pleasing to the eye. Plays very, very well indeed. I'd say it's a lenient golf course. It's not too tight at the moment. It may mature as the years go by. There's some smaller trees that are planted on the fairways, but I certainly think the leniency is actually an appeal, and certainly for society golfers and average golfers, it's a perfect setup. Play some decent golf and you'll score some good scores round here, and really wild and errant tee shots, then yes, you will be duly punished. But somewhere in between all that, and you can still have an enjoyable day, which I think is important to golfers and important to societies, and like I say, to the average golfer. So I would highly recommend it. It's the perfect society venue, and the costs that I seen when I had a look, a bit of research before we came, I think there's a split rate in terms of the week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then a Friday, Saturday, Sunday in terms of the weekend. So you'll have to confirm that, but I think it starts from as low as £25 a round and rises sort of £5 and £10 to the weekend. So again, it represents really, really good value. Can't recommend it highly enough. Obviously it's even better when the sun shines, so we've enjoyed that. We'll see you very, very soon on Upload TV, and I'm just going to figure out what irons to play on the 18th.